Oh, always does that. Hello everyone. Welcome to another stream in the 727, which I have been practicing with, and I think I'm to a point where I can well, I have been doing over the past few days. I've been really enjoying this aircraft. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to fly. It's a lot of fun. Honestly, it is. It's just a real fun aircraft to fly. Wow, that is loud. So we're in. Let's just get away from that. So we'll tell you where we are. We're in Colombo, which is it's the capital of, should I say, Sri Lanka, and we're flying to Maldives. To Malé, which I believe is the capital of Maldives. And we're in an airline that until today I had never heard of. It's part of the Lufthansa cargo group, which you can kind of tell because it looks similar, but it's an airline that is based in New Delhi. I don't know why there's an American flag on it, but yes, I've done some looking up, and it's based in New Delhi, and it's the only, there's no passenger variant. I've got the passenger variant of the 727, and there's no indication that there are any Indian or airlines based in Maldives, I must say, or Sri Lankan airlines available. And this is about as close as I could get to an airline that I think would operate around this area of the world, or at least in this continent. And it's an airline I've never even heard of, never seen before. But we're in it. And we're going to Male, which is in Maldives. So I'm going to get on with the startup because it takes a little bit of time. Does it actually takes quite a while, to be honest. So I'm going to get going with it. We've got ground power, so I'm going to put the battery on and get the GPU on the bus. Yes. Very unforgiving aircraft, this, but I mean, if you can manage it, it's fine. It's an unforgiving aircraft if you get something wrong, but if you can manage it, then it's okay. So put the essential power to external. The APU we can turn. Excuse me. There we go. It's lagging as well. It might just be from the scenery. It's a big scenery. You can hear the APU starting up now. Hydraulic, electric engine hydraulic pumps are on by default, but we don't turn those on until later. We put one electric hydraulic pump on until just before engines start. The aircraft is already loaded, so we don't need to open the cargo door. We can put the packs on. Those are on by default as well, which shouldn't be. The engine bleeds. Set the pressurization panel. We're cruising today at flight level 310, and we just use the flip chart here to set the cabin altitude, which is 4,100. You see there, 310. And the land altitude in Male, I'm assuming, is about 1 foot above sea level. Yeah, it is. It's 8 feet. So I'm just going to set that down to 0. I always round it down. It's a very, I mean, there won't be much to see on this flight, but I still wanted to do it because I've never actually flown to Maldives in the sim. It's a, for anyone who doesn't know, Maldives are a very, very small string of islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean. So we probably won't see anything at all until we're about 50 feet off the ground. Just to show you, the runway looks like this. It's a very long runway, but it's what I'm absolutely, it's on what I'm absolutely certain is probably a man-made island, because you can, like, it's just too perfect to not be a man-made island. So we're here, we've got the OFP, we're taking 13 tons of fuel, which is absolutely absurd for an hour-long flight. Hour and 11 minutes we've got. And before I started, I went through all of the waypoints and numbered them, which will, well, you'll see why that helps in just a moment. So where were we on the checklist? I've forgotten because I stopped paying attention. We set the pressurization panel, put the galley power 1 and 2 on, and then we need to put the navigation master switches on, which are in a stupid place. They're behind the captain's seat. You don't put those on, you don't get any lateral guidance whatsoever. I made that mistake, I think, the first time I flew this aircraft. Nothing was working. CDI wasn't working, RMI wasn't working, SEVA wasn't working. Just nothing was happening. And it's because I hadn't turned those on. Because they're in a stupid place. Who would look at this particular circuit breaker? Anyway, and the nav lights are on as well. It is lagging slightly, but it's okay. So that's the kind of preliminary setup done. I'm going to set the QNH 1010. And I'm going to program the INS waypoints in this little thingamajig machine here. So I set it to standby and set position on this selector, and then we can put our... oh. Cock, I don't even know what our position is. What stand are we on? I don't know what stand we're on. I turned that on by accident as well. I'm sorry guys, I'm going to cheat. Just need to use my thing here. So we're on Charlie 21. There we go. So if I grab the charts, taxi, parking stands and coordinates. That is not... It's not on here. Ah, it is. Charlie 21. I'm just going to pin this so that we can use it in here. So we're on Charlie 21, which is this one here. I'm going to mark it so that I remember that, because I will forget otherwise. So we just put this in like normal. So we press N, 2 for N, which is north, and it's 07104, and we're east of the Greenwich Meridian, far east. 079530 07104. Right, there we go. And now we do align, and then that starts the alignment process. I shouldn't think it would take very long given how close we are to the equator, but what I'm going to do is just cheat a little bit and press this nav ready button, which aligns the IRS instantly. It means you don't have to wait. Don't know why you wouldn't do that. And now we can input the waypoints, which are here. So we could go. It only goes up. It only holds 9. So we've got 1 to 9, and then a further 6. Well, 5 and the airport, which I always like to tune. Actually, we don't need to because we've got Male VOR as a fuck it, 5. So just go through these and put them in, which is slightly boring, so I'm going to put a little bit of music on while we do this. So it's north 06. I've done it wrong already. North 06. I'm not convinced I clicked that. It's mad. It just feels like I'm not really doing anything when I'm clicking them. It's east 079395. I'm going to go through and check all these at the end. It's very important that you have these right. When you try to click on them, sometimes they come up with like the arrow things. I'm not too sure why. It's, 53.6. For is north 06 083. It's east 07834.5. So 5. Oh, I've done that wrong. Oops. Let me just if I do this one right. Looks I'm warm, man. North 0506.5. Deletes it out. It's east 076 075 north 04 RSS. Open the window. It's just getting very warm in here. And it's east 075 387 north 04 416 east 075. Doesn't normally take me this long, actually. It's quite funny. Right, I'm just gonna go through and check all these now. Okay, I've done all those correctly by some miracle. So what I'm going to do now is continue with the setup. I'm just going to set the squawk, my usual. Not on the network, but I like to do that anyway. So next part of the initial setup is anti-skid, emergency exit lights, auto brake. Passenger signs not required, but we'll do them anyway just to follow the checklist. Squawk set ident is on and QNH is set. So we can do the before start checklist now. Just gonna cage that, nearly forgot. There we go. We had an APU on, didn't we? We did, so I'm gonna put that on the bus and set the essential power to APU. You've got to sync these, otherwise I think it doesn't charge the battery properly. Something like that. It's a little bit strange. Anyway, shut that, remove that, remove that, remove that, and remove that. Lovely jubbly. I'm going to open these windows so that we get some nice audio. Prepare for push and start. Oh my god, what is that? It's not even raining, love. She's got a windscreen wiper on and it's not even raining. Well, I've seen it all. Right, you are coming to put this pin in the wheel. I'd just like to talk about the departure as well, because I'm going to be flying on a radial from...
Hello, Captain, we are ready for pushback.
Oh my god, from a VOR that I can't pronounce. He sounds chirpy, doesn't he? The VOR is this one. Katunayake. Shut up. I'm really sorry if anyone's from here.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
This is more like it. It's so chirpy. I love it. The outbound radial is 220. Actually, no, I don't need to follow it because we've got it programmed. fuck it, we won't bother. Set nav 2 so it doesn't go crazy. Right. Got that set to waypoint 1. We can do the
Looking gear.
4-start checklist now. So we turn the packs off. Galley power off. We turn 1 boost pump on per tank just until after engine start. Fuel shut-off valves are open. Fuel cross-feed valves closed. Hydraulic system B, which is the electric hydraulic pumps, on. And then it's just beacon and transponder, which is lifting us up, so I'll do that now. That was beacon on and transponder to alt off for the pushback. Right, we need nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes.
God, that's correct, isn't it? Yes. Right.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Press the trim wheel by accident. Like the silly goose I am. Right, we're pushing, so and he said that we can start engines, so I'm going to go straight away and start engine number 3. Oh, there's no alt restriction on the departure, so I'm just going to set 100 initially. Looking for the low oil pressure light to extinguish, and then it's 20%, which is there. We put the fuel in. Assuming, I mean, this looks like the apron boundary, so I'm assuming he's going to push us onto this line here. I hope. Fuel flow and EGT is increased. EXH? I've always thought that was EGT. What the fuck's EXH? I don't know. Anyway, starting engine number 2. Shut that window now, so it's getting a little bit noisy. Just waiting for 20% as well here. So that's the low oil pressure light out. And there's 20%, we can put the fuel in. I wonder at what... Oh, that was about 40% there, I think. Right. Start engine number 1. That starter cutout was at about 40%, I think.
Set parking brakes.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
Unlocking gear.
Oh god, he's so chirpy, I love it. There's 15. And fuel in before we get to max motoring. Taxi's simple, we just make the first right and then all the way down to the end of the runway, holding point Alpha for runway 22. So that's 3 good starts, and now we do the longest after start checklist in the world. So engine ignition to continuous. Oh, continuous relight. So what we do is we sync the generators and then set this to Gen 3. Thank you, my good man. And then we sync it here as well.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
So that the batteries are charging. That is why we do that. Put the engine hydraulic pumps on. Turn the rest of the fuel pumps on. We put the engine bleeds on. Turn the engine 2 and APU bleed off. Put the packs back on. Galley power on. That's all of them. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Generators are on the bus, so we can turn the APU off. There we go. Continuous ignition's on. Window and probe heat comes on. And then we set auto pack trip to normal, and we set this button. This is the most important switch in the world. I don't know why it's not guarded. I'll be quite honest, because if you flip that during flight, the aircraft depressurizes. So you've got to make sure that this is set to flight and this outflow valve is closed, otherwise you won't pressurise. Yes, I've got an idea. We'll guard the anti-skid system, but we won't guard that. I don't know what they were thinking. Set the flaps. It was 15 that we were using. And we'll do flight control check now. So it's full forward, back, left, centre, right, centre, rudders. It's this indication down here I'm looking at. Full left and full right. There we go. Right. Taxi, quick config check. Oh. We have a takeoff config warning. What is that? Windows are closed, doors are closed, APU's off. Air conditioning, pressurization, power, fuel pumps. Probe and window heat. Emergency exit lights, anti-skid, auto brake. Yeah, everything's... Is it because we're not on a runway? It could be that. Well, I don't think this aircraft is intelligent enough to know, but we'll see. That's annoying if we've got a takeoff config though. There's nothing that I can see is visibly wrong. I'll set that to track and ground speed for the climb out. And yes, it's just a right turn here. What is going on there? It's like it's not picking up my inputs. Ah, I haven't set trim and bugs. It would be that, would it not? There we go. What I'm going to do is, because we're using manual thrust for the climb out, I'm going to set the speed bug to the up speed. There we go. Full config check. Yeah, I can set the speed bug to the up speed because I'm going to be using manual thrust on the way out. At least for the first sort of couple hundred feet up to 1,000. Now, something else I didn't do either is I didn't set the QDM of the runway, which is 220. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that using the course indicator because it's more accurate and it's easier to see and follow than the heading indicator. Watching the speed there, getting up towards 30 knots. I'll set the set it using the heading bug as well, but it's heading bug's more difficult to see, especially like if you're flying at night time. I'm telling you, that heading bug is hard to see. But that's fine. First waypoint is on a heading of 220 from the runway. So, in other words, as soon as we engage auxiliary nav, we will be routing towards the first waypoint, the first plotted SIVA coordinates. So the setup's not taking us as long as I thought it would. How fast are we going currently? 29 knots. Let's brake a little bit just to make sure that we're not. And we are very light though. This aircraft doesn't normally roll on its own, but at our current weight, we've only got 10 tons of cargo, so it does actually feel very, very sprightly, very light. Speeding up by itself. Right, running lights, strobe, and transponder to TARA. Approach sector looks clear, although it would be because I've not touched that sim in a while because it annoys me. Right. Let's go to Mali. On time as well, 1:15. Which was the scheduled time of departure. Right, nice long runway here, so I'm going to do a rolling run up. Stand the thrust levers up, about 55% usually does the trick. Yep, stable. Set takeoff thrust. Looking for 2 EPR. There we go, takeoff thrust set, indications normal. There's a bit of wind coming from the right. Airspeed's live, 80 knots already. Just keeping that runway centre line. Rotate, gentle rotation with this aircraft because it's very, very easy to tail strike. There we go. Gear up, auto brake disarmed there. And, oh god. Trimmed it, but it's wanting to climb very rapidly. And just maintaining runway heading. So climbing at about 160 knots. Some outer marker indicator there. Okay, that's 2,000 feet, so we'll pitch down to increase. Set the auto throttle. Climbing well, speed's doing good. Right, let's go flaps 5. Get those outboard lights up. It's nicely in trim now. Gear off. I've watched some departure videos of the 727. They seem to set the landing gear to off as soon as they get off, like more or less as soon as the gear is up. The couple of videos that I've watched where they've done that, they don't sort of do it in the takeoff. They have to take off cleanup. Right, going to just pitch down now slightly. Aiming for about 1,500 feet per minute if we can. Just so we can accelerate. Actually, about 2,000 feet per minute should be fine. Gonna bug for 250 knots now as well. So, and what I'm also going to do is I'm also going to just get back onto 220 there. And we'll go straight up to the cruise level now. Set standard, as that's what we're planning to do. Which you have to do 3 times. Which is rather annoying. Just checking that we're okay. We are. Standard 1, standard 2, standard 3 times. Right, I'm going to get the automation in just because there's a couple of other things that I need to do. Auxiliary nav. And we're in vertical speed, but I'm going to pitch down slightly. Just so that we can increase speed and get the flaps away. So pitching down, pitching down. And we're inbound to the first waypoint now. Just going to match the heading on the CDI. Okay, flap 2 we can go for now. Quick look outside. Oh dear me, look at that. God, the wind must be incredible. Look how far have we been pushed. Yeah, it looks like we do have quite a strong wind. Yeah, we've got 21 knots coming from the side. From sort of this direction. And flaps up. Right, pitch up now. Aim for about 2,000 feet per minute. The aircraft's pulling power, but it's going to need to add it back on. There, see? Okay, I believe that will be the alert for the next waypoint. It is. I'm going to leave this on ground speed as we're in the early stages. Right, after takeoff checklist. We'll turn the remainder of the lights off now. Ignition off. Or continuous ignition off. QNH is in standard APU is off. Auto pack trip to cut off. Air conditioning and pressurization checked. Cabin altitudes climb and differential pressures increasing. Looks fine to me. And fuel heaters on. Because we don't want the fuel to get cold. That could be a catastrophe. Right. Going to pitch up again and increase speed. Going to climb at about 270 knots, or aim for about 275, 280 knots. Ugh. About there. Doesn't really climb too well, doesn't this aircraft? Especially when it's low, it's heavily laden with cargo. But we're not. To be honest, we're not too heavy, so we should do alright in this climb. I wonder where that noise was coming from. I'm going to get the flight deck door shut as well, which is not a requirement. But, lowers the volume in here a little bit. But most cargo aircraft don't even have a door, I don't think. I think they've just got a curtain or a little flap or something like that. So it's still climbing relatively well. Just going to increase pitch a little bit more. I think, I'm not too sure, but I think for ISO we don't have Mach hold, it's in op for some reason, but I think we don't have Mach hold, it's in op, but for IS hold, I believe that you have to have the auto throttle disengaged. I'm not too sure though. But I've never used it. Vertical speed works well. Vertical speed works well for the climb and for the descent as well. Vertical speed works absolutely fine. If you calculate the descent properly, you can use vertical speed all the way down. It's never been an issue for me, to be honest. Even where there's been sort of tricky approaches. I've had, like I had a bit of a tricky approach into Mumbai. When I flew into Mumbai earlier today actually, and vertical speed still worked absolutely fine, like a charm, even for a sort of trickier descent such as that. So what's the wind doing? Let's have a look. Quite like a tailwind to be honest, but nope, it is a direct headwind. Look at that. So we're not really getting much speed on. It's helping with climbing though, I must say. Would be my luck. Wherever I seem to go in this thing, I just seem to get a direct headwind all the time. Constantly. Still climbing reasonably well. Just going up to flight level 200 now. What is that noise? Oh, it's just the thrust being piled on. Look at that! I have seen these in real life. They don't they don't spit out quite so much shit from the back of the engines, but it does look cool, I must admit. Old clunky trijet like this. Those old JT8Ds. So 10,000 feet to go. We got to the next next waypoint. Only 3 minutes to the next waypoint, so 3 minutes, 2,000 feet per minute. So we should be getting up to our cruise level just after the next waypoint. Pretty much. And then once we get into cruise, we'll calculate the top of descent because it takes a little bit of time, and then we'll brief the approach and landing into Male. Because it's a little bit, well, it's not, I'm not going to say it's tricky, but we're going to have to keep an eye out because there's lots of strings of little islands, but the actual airport itself is on probably the biggest island in the whole string of islands, and even then it's really not very easy to see. We've got a 15-mile final as well, so there is that to contend with. It's just coming up to the next waypoint now. Speed's fine, to be honest. It's not too bad. I don't think we're going to get to go much quicker than this, actually. Speed's dropping off, I've just noticed, actually. Going to pitch down. We're getting into the latter stages of the climb now anyway, so we can decrease climb rate just to bring the speed back up. The MMO bug is twitching. Or the MMO needle is twitching, should I say. Why is that? Well, the Mac tape is twitching. It's probably causing the MMO tape bug, MMO needle to twitch as well. Bring this down slightly more. Going for about 1,000 feet per minute now. So be up in 4 minutes, or just less than. Which for a climb is not bad. The distance that we've covered, the amount of time that it's taken for a climb in an old aircraft like this, is not terrible at all. So we get up to cruise. I'm going to break off and just grab a drink once we get into the cruise, but I don't want to do that until we're up there because any number of things... I don't really feel comfortable leaving this thing alone ever, even in cruise. So any number of things could go wrong until we get there. So it's 2,000 to go now. Any number of things could go. There's a lot more cloud than I was expecting there to be. It's alright though. I do quite like cloud surfing, it's quite fun. I'm hoping that by the time we get to 310 we should just be skimming the top of them, which will be nice. What was that? Is it just the sun? Sun's right above us. 1,000 to go there. We're coming up to the next waypoint. So, because, like I said earlier, we have 5 additional waypoints to tune. We've got essentially the latter stages of the descent and the approach to input into the INS. And because it goes up to waypoint 5, we can only start to input those after we've passed waypoint 5. Ideally waypoint 6. Yeah, we're fine. So waypoint 6 is Hoki. So after we pass Hoki, we will then input the rest of the waypoints into the INS. I'm assuming, I'm not calculated yet, but I'm assuming that we'll be starting descent somewhere between these 2 waypoints. So we've got a 48 mile leg there, we've got a 42 mile leg there, that's 90 miles as it is, and then we've got a 21 mile leg here. And then 15 mile final, so I would think that the descent will be starting on the arse end of this, or maybe yeah, probably about halfway through this this leg here. So we're leveled off now. Climbing well, given the headwind. Oh wow. Is that drop? That's almost flipped on its head. What on earth? I'm not crazy, am I? Earlier on that was at about 240. Sure it was. Well, we have a 20-ish knot tailwind now. So I'm going to bring us up to sort of Mach decimal 7.9, but Mach decimal 8, just below VMO is where I like to sit. VMO, MMO. So if we go to track and ground speed, oh, we're absolutely blazing along now, look at that. Nearly 500 knots ground speed. Right, pretty comfortable now, so I'm just going to go and grab a beverage. It is Saturday, so I'll be back in probably a minute or two because I'm only popping to the fridge, so I'll pop some music on while I am out of the room. I'm back. Took a little bit longer than anticipated, to be honest, because in a moment of brief but intense panic, I couldn't find my cat. But he was sat on the windowsill, looking out. I don't know why, but he came in. He likes to go out in the afternoon, and he came in way earlier than he usually did and went to sleep on the sofa, which he doesn't normally do, so I'm assuming he was upset by something. But then by the time he'd gotten up off his sofa, it was too late for him to go back out again because it's getting dark. I don't like him to go out when it's dark. Oops. Didn't realise I'd done that. So now we're up at cruising. We've got a little bit of time to chill out. I'm going to calculate the top of descent. So what I like to do, very simply and easily, is I'm just going to have a look on the OFP to see what the recommended top of descent point is. So the recommended top of descent is between these two waypoints, 508, 509. Ah, so yes, it's where I assumed it would be. And the remaining distance, where was it? The remaining distance on the top of descent is 102 miles. That seems quite far. Don't know, I'll do my own calculation, which is your very, very simple 31,000 divided by 1,000, which obviously gives you 31. It's your current cruising level, 31, and then times that by 3, which gives you 93 miles. So if we start the descent at 93 miles is what we shall do. So what I'm going to do now actually is just, I mean, that's not too far off, really it's not too far off what it recommended. Remaining distance at the top of the descent point was 102 miles. So it's recommended, so what I've worked out at 93. We're going to go with 93 just because, it's just 102 miles seems a little bit extravagant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to my flight plan. I'm just going to work out whereabouts the exact point is that we need to start the descent, which is pretty simple to do. You can do it simply by adding up leg distances. So we know based on the approach chart, this one here, that we want to be, we're inbound to a waypoint called Benku, which is when we turn on to final. We want to be at 4,000 feet at Benku. I beg your pardon. I did the calculation wrong. It's 27 times 3, which is 81 miles. I'm still going to go for about... I'll meet in the middle. We'll go 85 miles. How's about that? We'll go 85 miles. So all we need to do here is just work out whereabouts 85 miles is. So we can do that by adding up the leg distances. So at Benku is when we want to be at 4,000 feet. So we've got 21 miles here, plus 42 miles, which gives us 63. God, that's a lot longer than it should have done to work out. And then if we're starting the descent at 85 miles, we know that 85 miles is somewhere in here. So that we just take the difference, 85 minus 63, which is 22. So we know our top of descent is 22 miles before Mike 508. So I'm just going to note that down, and then we'll have a look based on the required altitudes, which I've highlighted here, how feasible that's going to be. So, oops. I like to write it down just in case I forget. I'm not the forgetful type, but it helps to have it written down. So T, I'm rubbish at writing with this thing, but TOD, come on, equals, oh god, that was terrible. Did you see that? Equals, what did we say, 22 miles before Mike 508. It was right, wasn't it? Yes. Yes, it was indeed. To N M to, god, that's terrible. Mike 508. So M 508, which was waypoint 9. We'll just put waypoint 9 in brackets because naturally SIVA doesn't recognise waypoints, it only recognises INS coordinates. So we worked it out as being 22 miles to Mike 508. Just see how feasible that is. So at Mike 508 we need to be at flight level 240. Now to lose, what was it? So 240, so it's 7,000 feet. To lose 7,000 feet in 22 miles is fine. To lose 7,000 feet in 22 miles is fine. We can do that relatively easily. Because you can do, so you can do about 3,000 feet every 10-ish miles. Down low. We'll just see where we are. We are here on the long leg towards Hoki. So I think we said actually after waypoint Hoki is when we can input the rest of the waypoints. Just put some music on while we're in the cruise. Something I have noticed with the 727, well with SIVA. Oh, look at that, 500 knots ground speed, that is very nice. Yeah, something I have noticed with SIVA is it seems to do a lot of turning in flight. It seems to be lots of, you know, little adjustments, which is good, obviously, if that's keeping us on... If that's keeping us on course, then that's absolutely fine by me, you know, it can do that. Oh, interesting. The call sign is Lufthansa India for this particular airline. That is interesting. Because I'm not sure if this airline still operates at all. I imagine that it doesn't. Yeah, it was a cargo. I'm just reading up about it now. Yeah, ceased operation. Founded 1996, ceased in 2000, so it only ran for 4 years, and it only had a fleet size of 3. Looks like it really only operated. Oh wow, yeah, looks like it only operated the 727. It's cool though. It's cool that they've remembered this. Little piece of history there for this stream. Oh, I'm getting a telephone call. Won't be a moment. Ah. So, already forgotten. I do stress about these things now. Ah, yeah, so we're inputting the remaining waypoints after Hoki, which is in 36 miles. Oh, we're losing speed. Losing speed, Captain. We're right up next to VMO. Or MMO, it would be at this speed. We're just kind of cloud surfing. Wish the cloud effects were slightly better in MSFS, but it's okay. Try not to knock the flight control with the stem of my wine glass. Take the autopilot out, send us crashing into the Indian Ocean. Right, so all I'm doing is, right now, is just waiting for waypoint Hoki, because after we pass that we can input the remaining SIVA waypoints. Leave that on 1. Because I don't want to be overwriting waypoints that we are yet to pass. after I've input the remaining waypoints as well, what I'm also going to do is tune Marley VOR and the ILS frequency. Seldom I forget to do that. Just looking at the chart, Marley VOR, it's a VOR DME, it seems to be a high range one, so we'll probably have a DME distance from 130 miles. But we can worry about that soon, after we've input the remaining waypoints, which is the next job. Decide which views better. Like to have a sort of wider angle, because the problem with the sort of wider angle views like this is you can't see. I find it harder to read the instruments. I have my standard view, but then I also have this one to help me. Occasionally, when I'm on final approach, I lose sight if I sort of can't see the the CDI, for example. I can just zoom in slightly and pan down so that I can see it slightly easier without taking my eyes off. Obviously I could have a camera view that's like this, but that's no use when you're disconnected. It's fine tuning for Hoki now. I'm just looking at the line that's plotted. It's just turned us right slightly, which is put us back on essentially, which is good. We're over halfway there as well, which is mental. Feels like it's because it looks like it would be quite a long flight, but I think it's just it appears that way. It's really not taken very much time at all, though. Like I thought that Delhi to Mumbai would take quite a while because it is across a lot of the country, but it only took us an hour and a half. That well, I say it only took us an hour and a half, but that we did have an absolutely stonking tailwind for that. I think usually it's about an hour and 45, or even up to 2 hours. So, 5 miles from Hoki now. Hoki. I'm going to say Hoki because it's a H-O-K rather than H-O-C-K. And just going to bring up the flight plan so that we can input the rest of the waypoints. So is that it? That is it. We are inbound to the next waypoint. So what I'm going to do is we'll get zoomed in, get the big view, and input the rest of these waypoints. So we've got the selector on 1. You can see here that this is representing the first waypoint that we flew to straight after departure. But we want it to now represent the new waypoints on the sort of latter stages of the descent and the approach. So all you have to do to overwrite it is just start typing. So it's north 03, very close to the equator. It's 570, insert, and then it's east 073, 529. So again, I will check all these. It's north 03570. Insert, it's east 0734559. 4.3, it's north 03570. Notice that these these 3 waypoints are all on the same coordinates. What would that be? Laterally, because they're all in a straight line across. You're not deviating north or south. So longitudinally, we're heading west. So these numbers are decreasing, but laterally these numbers stay the same. So we could do waypoint 4. Oh, did we do waypoint 3? It's my fault I started talking about how interesting things are. Waypoint 4, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, there we go. It's north 0, 3, 5, 6, 9. It's east 0, 7, 3, 3, 1.9. There we go. Waypoint 5. It's north 0, 4, 1, 2, 4. Cert, and it's east 0, 7, 3, 3, 1.7. So just check through all these now. Point 6. I'll do 6 actually. So it's north 0, 4. These are just the airport coordinates. You'll notice that these two are essentially the same, just different laterally. This one is slightly further south. This is over the centre of the airport, whereas Malé VOR is to the north. So 115 insert, and it's east 073 318. There we go. 115 073 318. The airport's called Valana, which is pretty cool. So we're inbound to waypoint 8 now, 25 miles. Just have a look at where we are. Waypoint 8, it's this one, and we're starting our descent before this waypoint. So we've just got 24 miles to run, and then once this reads 22 to the next waypoint is when we start our descent, and hopefully that'll work out just perfectly. Nice wing views. So, because things start to happen pretty fast on the descent, so I like to get things set up beforehand, because the descent takes up a lot of my concentration, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is on nav1, I'm going to tune the ILS frequency. So the ILS frequency is 1099. Oops. Stop that. So it's 109. 9. I realise now I could have gone the other way. 109. 1099. There we go. And on nav 2, I'm going to tune the Malé VOR, which is 1147. 1147. Given that we're not too far away, it might pick that up. It has done. So there we are. We are 109 miles from destination. The final approach course is 003. Not worried about the CDI. picking up the inbound course to the Marley VOR because we're not actually routing towards that. We're just using it for the DME distance. So we're 48 miles from Mike 508, which is on the arrive. It's actually on the star. Is this? So I'll show you where we are here. Here we are, and this is the route that we're flying. See the runway just looks like it's out in the middle of nothingness. So, on the descent, the altitude or the flight level I'm going to select initially is 240. Which is obviously not very far beneath where we are, but it's just so I can calculate whether we're on the right descent path or not. Obviously, as we continue, we'll notch it down as we go. So 30... oh no. About 10 miles. Oh, I'm getting on for 10 miles. 14 currently. From the top of descent. Need to do the descent checklist as well. While that's in my mind, we'll do that after we get on to the descent. So I'm going to set the first altitude on the descent, or the initial descent altitude, which is flight level 240. What is the transition? 11,000 feet. So as soon as we're cleared below that, we'll set the QNH in Marley. So 240, select the Alt arm. It always trims for some reason when you press Alt arm, I don't know why. Shouldn't do that, because we're still in level flight. So, nearly there now. 83 miles from destination, but remember we are tracking further than that. So that's 83, 82 and a half miles as the crow flies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow down slightly and just initiate that descent, aiming for about 2,000 feet per minute initially. So we're 3 minutes away. So 2.5 minutes. Well, nearly 2.5 minutes. So 2.5 minutes at 2,000 feet per minute is 5,000 feet, because it's 2,000, 2,000, 1,500. So we need to be just more than 2,000 feet per minute, just so that we can get down at that point. Into the cloud now. Can't see anything, but it's okay. So 2 minutes away now at 2,000 feet per minute is 4,000 feet. And we're at 28,000, so we're absolutely bang on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reduce this down to flight level 110. What you need to do is recycle Alt Arm, because it's still armed to level off at flight level 240. So every time you make an adjustment on the altitude select, you have to rearm it so that it catches the new altitude. Oh, just getting below the cloud now. Can see the ground. Do the descent checklist now so that it's out of the way. So, auto brake. This is a fun one. We've got a nice long runway in Mali, and this aircraft actually slows down very, very well once you get it on the ground. So I'm not concerned about that. I'm going to go for lowest auto brake, and I imagine we will have vacated by Delta 4. Delta 4 won't be a problem at all. And then we can go from Delta 4. I'm going to assume that there'll be a cargo apron here. Though it doesn't look like there is. Which I can't believe. International terminal, domestic terminal. Got a very long main apron though, so what I'm going to do... We vacate at Delta 4 and then taxi on Charlie. We'll just park at one of these stands down here. But from Charlie to taxi line Alpha. And then just park at one of these far off stands down here, out of the way. So we're inbound to Mike. Oh no, we're not. We're inbound to Kabik now. 6 minutes away. Currently doing around 2,000 feet per minute. 6 minutes and 2,000 feet per minute is 12,000 feet. So we're going to be at 10,000 feet by the time we get to Kabik, which is a smidge too low. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ease off that descent rate. Which will help us with slowing down as we get into the descent as well. Still, obviously I wouldn't expect to, but still can't see anything of what I'm going to be landing. Oh, I can! I can see some oh, I don't know, that might be a reef or something, I don't know. We look a little bit too high for that, but could be anything. And notch the speed down once more. Slowing down gradually is definitely the right way to do things. Flying an aircraft like this. So 5 minutes away, 2,000 feet per minute is 10,000 feet, so we can reduce the descent rate even more. Because the next after that, what I'm probably going to do is route from Kabik direct to Benku, because that'll give me more accurate timing. So I believe what I can do is I can update that even though it's in the future. Could do it I could do it at the time, but I don't want to test whether you can do that or not, because obviously I'm inbound from 9 to 1. So what I could do, I'm assuming, is do waypoint change and do 1 to 4 to cut out waypoint 2 and 3. But I don't really want to test to see if that works or not. Sounds pathetic, but yeah, I'll just do it when I get there, it's okay. Minimums for the ILS approach, which is what we're doing, is 220 feet. So I'll set that now while I remember. About there. And I'll just set it on here as well. 220. 3 of them to do. 220. And 220, there we go. So, in other words, I need to be visual with the runway by the time this light comes on. Like I keep saying to everyone, it's not a difficult aircraft to fly this. The workload is high, but it's good fun, and if you just don't let it get on top of you, you'll be absolutely fine. So continue with the descent checklist. ILS frequency and course we have set. Pressurization panel and air conditioning looks fine. DPI, differential pressures decreasing, cabin altitudes decreasing, but not too rapidly. Fuel heaters we can turn off. And we never did anything with the signs, did we? No. Because we don't have any passengers. 3 minutes away now. Doing about 1,500 feet per minute. So, yeah, we'll be at about 11,000 feet by the time we get to there. Just going to increase the descent rate slightly. So for the waypoint Mike 602, charts recommending 2,000 feet. It's mandatory 2,000 feet by Mike 601. We have a speed restriction that I hadn't noticed. So at Benku we need to be max 210 knots. I wouldn't want to be going faster than 210 knots by that point anyway, because we're on to final approach by that stage, but I'll just keep that in mind. From Benku, it's 15 miles. It's plenty of time for the ILS to line itself up. As we're heading down to the transition altitude as well, I'm going to set the QNH, which is 10. Actually, can I press B? I can. Look at that. I love the B button in MSFS. Saves so much time. Doesn't set standard for it. Mind you, there is probably a hotkey that you could use to set standard for yourself, or to retune the altimeters to 1013. Don't know. May have to have a look into that. It's very warm. It has been very warm today. So that's 1,000 feet to go now. So I'm going to set this down to 4,000 feet and rearm that quickly so that we don't actually stop descending. And what I'm going to do now is do 2 to 4. Or is it 1 to 4? Ah no, it's 1 to 4. So we'll do waypoint change, 1 to 4, insert, and that gives us a distance to Benku, which is 20 miles. That's right, and we're 4 minutes away. We want to be at 4,000 feet at Benku. 7,000 feet. So we can actually reduce the descent rate, aim for about 1,500 feet per minute, or just less than. My cat is meowing at something. You can hear that in the background. I hope you're finding it cute. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune the ILS frequency now as well. This brings the localizer alive. And gives us a DME readout as well, which is very nice. Very nice, very handy. So, I'm going to set 3,000 feet on here and arm, because you don't want to get... Did I do that? There we go. Don't want to get too high in this aircraft. increase. Ah, the alt restriction. I'd forgotten about that little gem. Oh, you can see islands. Oops. Maybe going too fast here. Absolutely, I'm going too fast. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use heading select and turn outbound. And increase the descent rate to about 1,000 feet per minute just to slow down. So I'm going to using this to navigate now, really. You can kind of roughly see where the airport is. It's up there. So I know what I need to be doing here. What I'm going to do is on here. Don't know if that means we're high on glide or if it's just not come alive yet. Flap 40 for landing, and I'm going to set the bugs as well. Oh, we don't want to drop below the up speed. Good God. Right. Just going to chill at the up speed now. Glide slope is alive. We are high, but it's okay. We turn inwards now, just so we've got a bit more of a desirable turn rate onto final. And I'm going to increase descent rate just to... Oh, it's coming back to us. $17 miles to go. So that's not really decreasing. Should I notch that down slightly more? Actually, it's caught up with us more or less, so we can decrease descent rate there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn in now on a heading of around 330, I'm going to say. Just because that gives us a nice... air struggles with 90-degree turns as this. Forgot I'd left the speed brake out. I mean, even with a turn like this, it does bust through the localizer. It doesn't lose the localizer, and so you have to recapture, but it does fly through it. Right. We're in heading select. We're right on the glide slope, so I'm going to engage auto GS. And that's arms, Vorlock, and glide slope. Just going to pitch down slightly just to get slightly below the glide slope. We are compliant with the speed restriction, which is good. Benku there, more or less at it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to track and ground speed now so we can keep an eye on that. Localizer capture there. You can see the runway just off the nose to the right, which is good. See the CDIs coming in now as well. And the glide slope's captured as well. You see it has gone through it, which is a bit annoying, but it's alright. The missed approach, it's a bit late to be briefing things like this, but we climb straight ahead and then turn right, proceed to Benku and hold. Climbing to 4,000 feet, so I'm going to set that now, and we're at 12 miles. So I'm going to go for flap 1 shortly, or flap 2 it is in this aircraft. Right, I'll go for flap 5 actually, and reduce to just below the flap 5 speed. Are you finding it plain? I think you are. There's barely anything beneath us. I mean, the scenery is very pretty. Look at that. Nice sort of shallows for our old clunky trijet. I mean, if we were going to ditch, I'd probably do it here. Oh god, look at that for a crosswind. Hoping that that reduces slightly. We've got a, yeah, it's a 12 knot crosswind from the left, from over here. Right. Gonna reduce speed now further. Gonna go for flap 15, and then when we get to around 7 miles, we'll configure gear down flap 20. And see if we can get a greaser. I do have Maldives scenery. Nothing's really loaded in yet. I'm hoping it looks alright. Picture looks good. Oh, look at that! It's fantastic. It's loading in now. And this below us just looks stunning. It's not quite 2024, but it is very nice. Okay, gear down. Flap 20. I'm gushing at the visuals far too much. Reduce the flap 20 speed. Okay, flap 30. And flap 40, reduce the final approach speed, which is there. And then I'll disconnect shortly and we'll hand fly this baby. And we'll aim to vacate a Delta 4, but no worries if not, because we've got Delta 3 shortly after that we can use. I'm sure that we'll make that. Look how pretty this is. I wonder why they thought, yes, Maldives. Why not build a civilization here? It's absolutely in the middle of nowhere, but it's very pretty. Engines aren't happy with us. God, the crosswind. It's absolutely mental. Right, we're stable, we're visual. Going to disconnect. Don't want to be getting below the glide. Oh yeah, we are getting below the glide. Just arrest that descent rate. It's coming back to us now so we can continue the descending. Still on centerline, which is nice. Maybe if slightly to the right, but it won't be a problem. There we go, back on centerline now. Continue. There we go. If we weren't visual by this stage, I'd be a bit concerned. So just decreasing the throttle very gradually. Close. And kick it straight. Oh god, maybe a little bit high there, but that's alright. Ground spoilers. Reverse green. I'm not that good at crosswind landings. Look, it's just slowing down already. I'm going to disarm the auto brake. And... oh my god! I'm going to slam on for this actually. I would like to get vacated here. Luckily we've got no engines to strike. Welcome to Marley. Absolutely lovely approach that, really enjoyed it. Get the flaps away, get these guys off. And it's a left turn now. Pretty scenery. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch that landing. Maybe I've We're at 30 feet when I kicked it straight. It could have probably been 20. Get the APU started there as well. And where am I going to take up residency? Down near the bottom somewhere, I would think. Get GSX ready. So we'll go for stand 4, I think. For right. No, follow me. It's a bit of an ugly airport, isn't it? It's alright though. See what the landing... it was alright actually. Just having a look at Volanta, how Volanta thinks I did. Volanta thinks I did alright. I'm going to say that we did. It's obviously... Because most of the weight's at the back of the aircraft, the pitch is very sensitive, so when you're trying to flare, it's almost impossible to use it properly. Let's turn in here. Actually, no, it is quite a pretty airport. Take that back. Oh, and our stand is right here. Get that taxi light off. Oh god, I'm coming in a little bit hot. There we go. Slow it down. I think we looked like we're to the right of the centre line, but I'm just following what GSX is telling me to do. If you don't, it has a wobble and then won't give you any ground service. Come on. Come on. There we go. Right. Parking brake is set. Get the GPU on the bus. And just slave that so that it's on APU power. There we go. Yeah, absolutely nowhere near, but I did what GSX wanted me to do.
Boarding requested.
What? 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 I don't know if I can. What was that?
Do you want to deboard crew?
I have never in my
Crew bus is coming.
I have never in my life have I seen it do that. What? Did it do like a little dance because I got it close or something? Maybe that's why. No, I got the window shut because the GPU is a little bit on the noisy side. External power. She's still doing it, look. Oh my god. Oh, never seen that happen before. Maybe that's the closest I've ever got.
Pilots to boarding starting.
Lovely. I want to see if they actually use the aircraft steps. Oh, they don't. They just come off and disappear, but that's fine. That's okay. Oh, I would like to watch that landing though. Sadly, I do not have a replay tool. Not standard issue in MSFS, which is really annoying. Like, I don't know why. It's such a scenic and pretty game. Like, I don't know why they would think, Why don't we add a replay tool? Anyway, that was very, very, very fun. I very much enjoyed that. Is door open now as well? Very nice. Thank you everyone for watching, those of you that did. I shall see you in the next stream.